shrub right here. It's important to understand when we want to water. The times of the year are also going to be important for you, and then how we apply the water to the plant. So right now I'm using an open-end nozzle, and we just have a regular garden hose right here. So what we're looking for is for the water that we're putting on the plant to penetrate through the mulch bed and get down into the root system. So if I open this up and I see, water starting to flow off, that means it's not penetrating through. So it's critical to just understand how much water we're putting in at one point in time. We can certainly use a hose nozzle. You just want to put it on a soft setting. So during the course of the day, if it's hot out, what we don't want to do is put water on top of the leaf because it will burn the leaf. So during this time of year, what we like to do, put it around the base of it. If you're going to do any overhead watering, do it early in the morning or later in the evening. So that way we're not getting any sun scorch when the extreme heat is out there in the middle of the day, because it will burn the plant. So after the initial installation, we always recommend every day to every other day, depending on what the temperatures are. And then as we progressively get to a stage where the plants are a little bit more established and the root systems have started to develop, we can taper that back. So the hotter that it is, the more we're going to water the plant. The cooler it is and the shorter the day, and the more rainfall we're getting, we're going to water less. So for the first 2 weeks, what we like to say is water every other day or every day, depending on how warm it is. And then as we progressively get into the season, we're going to taper that back to about 3 times a week or every other day. During the fall season, it's still important, if we haven't had enough moisture, that we still provide the plant with adequate watering. That way it can store up all the nutrients and it can go to sleep through its dormancy stage and survive through the winter time. So again, we're going to go through and water this plant right here. So we're going to take a look at this. I'm controlling the water using a kind of a pinch method. So we're pinching the hose off to control how much we're getting. And then what we'll do is we'll move on to the next plant. And the purpose of this really is simply just to allow the water to get into the root system of the plant and without being flooded too much. So we're going to work our way around this plant, and then we can see the water's filling up, so he's taking all the water in. So then I'll move on to the next plant here. Same situation. Smaller the plant, less water. As we get into a bigger plant or tree, it's going to take more water. So these 1 gallon perennials, they're not going to take an extreme amount of water, so a couple of seconds, 5 seconds on each plant. Move on to the next one. So again, we're back to a shrub here, 3 gallon size. So we don't need a ton of water on him, but what we want to make sure is that we're giving him enough water and the water's not running off. So then I'm going to keep repeating that process. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to work my way around this plant again. Keep repeating that, moving on to the next, What we like to recommend is using a hose or a nozzle rather than a sprinkler system. A lot of people feel as though the sprinkler systems are going to penetrate the mulch. Unfortunately, it doesn't penetrate quite the same way. So it is important to monitor and kind of check the plant after we've watered, just to make sure everything is penetrated through. So simply just taking your fingers, kind of poking around in the soil bed just to make sure it's moist. So that's it for your watering guide. Appreciate it.